99.5 FM.
Hours 20 in Guyana, right across the Eastern Caribbean is TGIF. And of course, you're listening to us right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. 28th edition of Glenn Lall. You know, Mr. Lall, before I hand you over this evening, there's something I've been thinking about the minute I entered this studio. I think you would have answered it again, but it's good to repeat sometimes. How manage being a husband, father, a business owner, still find time to do this program every day, because it's the work we do here, get this program to the people. How do you manage all of that and still find it?
That's a tough question. That's a question for our Creator. That's a question. All praise, thanks should go to Him for that.
Yes.
He's the one who is in charge. He's the one that guides and protects us all. He gives us the strength and the wisdom to carry out His will.
Yes.
And that would be the answer. The question but I always thank Him because He is the one who guides us all. I believe in that. At every moment of our lives, He even guides our thoughts that is brewing in our heads or in our mind. And that would be like, I try my best. I ask many times, well, how you run the newspaper, how you run the radio, and still able to find to take that.
Enough.
I've been some TikToks. I did TikTok the day before, and it's amazing show. But these TikToks, people are taking them and sharing on the pictures, and they're getting more viewership than. But I'm happy. I'm seeing that the TikTok is making inroads into the minds and hearts of the young, and I'm happy that the young people is beginning to wake up. And this resource we have, this wealth we have, it's beginning to become the talk of the country. So it's a fight all of us have to fight. It's not one man fight. I just like I said, that radio station, ability and happiness to what I do. And that's what I'll continue to do as long as He wants me to do it. How long? All right. Let's yeah, didn't get in a mask all these beautiful people that listen to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And share them. I'm doing a short program because some of you say I talk too much and for too long. So now I focus on sense. I want to let all of you know that from the beginning of this program, I've been telling you people how lots of our children going to school without lunch kits or empty lunch kits. Yeah. It has some of them who go with lunch kits has little or nothing inside. Well, yesterday, my reporters confirmed what I've been saying all along. We carried out a small investigation on schools, and what reporters found out could have only brought tears to their eyes, and sadness in my heart. Half or even more than half of the children in classrooms did not eat lunch because of poverty. Uncle and auntie, I say even more than half, because most of the students are ashamed to tell their story. This level of poverty has gone so far and bad that teachers are calling business places, begging for donations, not money. They are begging for bread, cheese, and whatever these companies can contribute to ensure that those children who cannot afford a lunch get something to put in their stomach during the day. My reporters found out that plenty of them go to school without having breakfast, plus the lunch. Just imagine what goes through those children's minds and stomach in those classrooms. Teachers complain how many of them just stand up and faint in the classrooms from hunger. Yes, this is the Guyana we live in today. It is becoming like Africa and Asia overnight. And they say we are the fastest growing economy on earth. Just bear that in mind as I move on to the meat of tonight's program of silence and loudness between government and oil companies. Here we go. 3 months, every 3 months, the oil companies holding webinars, earning calls, or simpler words, meetings and conferences to tell their shareholders and the world about the progress they are making in other people's countries. Other people's countries like Guyana. And the billions they're making and set to make. While we leaders are stone cold silent. Yes, silent. Silent as to the wealth that these people fetching away out of our land. A few days ago, to be exact, I think it's Monday, Hess Corporation, one of the partners of Exxon working out there, was telling their shareholders and the world how, if it wasn't for Guyana's oil, they could not put in their bank book $515 million American dollars in the last 3 months. Hear me? They tell their shareholders, if it wasn't for Guyana oil, they could not have banked $550 million US in the last 3 months. Just for you to know, them is only a 30% part in the Exxon deal. Only 30%. What have you heard from our leaders as to what we got for the last 3 months? May I ask? We are the owners of this oil. What have we gotten? Wow. I wish I could have answered that question. Or what have we heard? Every dollar these people make out of our oil, Guyana gets a few cents. Their profits are growing so fast, Uncle. Yes, their profits are growing so fast, Auntie, that Hess Corporation alone done announce 310 million US. 310 million US to be paid out as Christmas to their shareholders. Hear that? Hess workers and shareholders will have a beautiful Christmas. What have you heard from our leaders as to what you are getting for your Christmas? ExxonMobil. That's Hess. Let's go to ExxonMobil. Them has 45% ownership of the Stabroek block. Them also had their 3 months. Their 3 months conference today, Uncle, today. And they announced to the world and to their shareholders how sweet Guyana is. I gotta laugh. Them tell the world that they made more than they ever made in the history of the company, and did that in the last 3 months only. Should I repeat that? They made more than they expected in the last 3 months in the history of their company. Wow. Wow. No wonder Joe Biden said the oil companies made more money than God. The only thing he left out in his speech is that no money is left for the black, brown, and purple people who the oil belonged to. Maybe that slipped his tongue. Yes, he didn't mention nothing about that. ExxonMobil, Uncle and Auntie, told the world and their people today that they made 19.7 billion profit. 19.7 billion in profit. This is after paying out or paid out $3.7 billion in dividends. Yes, that's the kind of money they made. What do you think will be their shareholders' Christmas with the everyday increase of our oil out there? You got an idea? You guys have a clue? Hess done said they're going to pay their shareholders $310 million for Christmas. How much you think Exxon, after making that, going to pay their shareholders? This is not money flowing like the water from the Kaieteur Falls, Auntie. This is money that could float Guyana. Yes. Again, what have you heard from our leaders as to what we got for the last 3 months? Huh? You guys really want to hear? I will play them just now for you to hear what you getting. Let's move to the third partner in the business out there. CNOOC, the Chinese company. That company is owned by the government of China. Them don't have shareholders to report to. So them don't have to announce anything to anybody. But they made almost as much as what Hess Corporation made with their 25%. Yes. What have you heard? Or what are we hearing from our politicians about our share? Exxon talking about 20 billion US dollar in profits and billions to be paid out to their shareholders and workers. What are we hearing from Vice President Jagdeo, Opposition Leader Norton and Ramjatan, and President Ali? This is what you're hearing. I want you to listen carefully. This is what you're hearing from them. People boasting about collecting billions out of Guyana's oil. And this is what you're hearing from them. Play one of the tapes.
I am saying that because of the amount of monies and immediacy, no procrastination, you sign up the agreement, you got a 1%, 100% more, and the royalty...
Oh, come on, don't play with numbers like that. You get 2% instead of 1%.
Precisely.
100%.
Yeah,
come on, man. Come on, don't play with numbers.
No, well, just let me...
Don't play with numbers.
No, but that is the approach that you'll have. Well, if you wanted to have a better agreement, I think that you'll have to form a political party, go and win an election.
What a nonsense.
Please, that is not nonsense.
That was Kemraj Ramjatan and Christopher Ram's program a few months ago, telling the man they get 100% increase. Yes, from 1% to 2%. And when Christopher Ram put him to his place and said, come on, don't play with figures. He told him, if you want a better deal from the oil, then form your own political party. It's not only what he said, it's how he said it. Yes, that upsets me. Half of the children in this country going to school without breakfast and lunch. And that is what you're hearing from the national leaders of Guyana when you ask them about this lopsided contract we have. They are ready to attack the person raising the topic. Yeah. I will go high, and I will leave it that way, because I listened to a lady named Michelle Obama. She said, when they go low, go high. And like a gentleman named Mr. John says, Glenn, please don't call anybody clown anymore. So I will go high. Now listen to the other leader, the opposition leader, Aubrey Norton. Play.
Why are you rallying against corruption and cost of living when we can't even improve or we can't get anything better from the one-sided oil contract?
Because even though oil is important, so is corruption, so is high cost of living. It's a simple answer.
Right. But what he's saying is that he believes that the way to address cost of living is by getting more out of that oil.
I have no doubt about that.
Good. So he wants you to tell us when you're going to start talking about renegotiation.
I'm not going to speak about renegotiation.
I am not going to speak about renegotiation. My reporter, I asked her, she went to a press conference they had somewhere and music was playing, and I told her to ask him the question. I am not going to play. I am not going to talk about renegotiation. Again, guys, half of our children going to school without breakfast and lunch. And that is the hostile answer you're getting from these leaders when you ask them anything about oil. Especially when it comes to negotiation of that one-sided contract. Like I said tonight, I am going high. I'm not going to go low. Now, I want you to listen again to our president, what he had to say when he was questioned about oil and oil blocks. Play that for me.
My son have a little car that he brings out all the farmers, even the lady that just now speak. And we need a transportation from 10 Mile to Sharima so that we could get this thing going the proper way. I need to know what is happening with the oil blocks. Could you please share something with me?
And the oil blocks would be auctioned. We're examining the possibility of a national oil company and the auctioning. So you have an opportunity to put in a bid. Right? Because I don't understand how much times you have to explain the same thing. I'm very, very factual. I'm very factual. We have said, and let me be very clear on this issue with oil. If we believe that oil alone will lead to transformation, you gotta be kidding. It is this transformative investment that we make to make all the other sectors competitive that will create the jobs and lead to the transformation that we want. And let us be clear, we have a choice as a country, you know. And I said this to the Summit of the Americas because what I say here, I can stand on any international stage and say, we can leave the oil there, or we can have it for the benefit of Guyana, the region, and the prosperity. Let us decide what we want. Let us decide what we want. All the countries we so proudly stand up sometimes and talk about, find out how they become developed. Find out how they became highly developed and rich countries. But in this country, when we are blessed with natural resources, we have people that see all kinds of jumble in that blessing. They don't see the realization of a better hope, of a better future. They don't contribute to the debate that will lead to how we translate this into that better future. You yourself ask for transportation to bring out the produce. I want to give you the transportation, but you know what will help me do it faster? The revenue. That will help to build the infrastructure that will support agriculture, that will help you with the subsidies you want as your input for agriculture, that will help to build a modern infrastructure, that will create a services industry. You think those 6, 7 hotels that are coming now would have come? Guyana existed a long time before oil. Those 7 hotels that are...
When I listen to these things, as I was listening back to this video, I was pinching my finger and asking myself if I'm a Guyanese.
Same here.
And if that man
He's our president.
is my president.
Yep.
Today, yesterday, and the day before, if you guys have access to the international news, to Reuters or Bloomberg, you will hear and you will see that all these news agencies reporting on the money the oil companies they're making, they are becoming billionaires and trillionaires of our oil. And you listen to that president. This is your president. Going into 2 years and never hold a press conference to tell us anything on our oil, our gold, our diamond, our bauxite, our manganese, or anything. Come on. All you guys heard. The lady asked him to tell her something about our oil blocks. And you listened to his reaction. You could have heard in his voice, man, believe somebody committed a terrible, a grave crime against maybe somebody close to him. The way he behaved on that woman. This woman asking a legitimate question about her oil blocks. Not Ali or his family oil block. Her own oil blocks. And that's the answer he gave her. It's like the woman touched something for him. Oh my. You guys are in real trouble in this land. Real trouble in this land. That some days I pray and beg God Almighty to give me the strength to come to work, to put out a newspaper, and to have these radio programs with these tic-tacs. I'm so happy. Thank you again, Lord. And I'm pretty much certain that some of you praying for me too. I have a next video. Could you please play it for me? Play that for me.
After Exxon Mobil came here under the PVP, explored under the PVP, found oil under the PVP, at that time we had a chance to renegotiate the contract to bring more benefits to Guyana. Mr. Speaker, that company walked in because they're very smart, big company. They look out for their shareholders. And so what they did, they walk in with their maximum demands. Our incompetent government trudged in there unprepared and stuck us with a contract that would harm us for decades into the future. They sold our patrimony. And when they were caught, Mr. Speaker, with this, what did they do?
That was Bharat Jagdeo in Parliament when he was in opposition. What did he do? He is sitting in a chair today, Uncle. What is he doing to make the changes you just heard him talk about? That he cussed down the coalition about. What is he doing? They just put out a statement, Uncle, 2 days ago, that ordered all government agencies and government corporations not to do anything to hold back the oil companies from going full speed ahead to empty the oil basin. You didn't hear what I said? 2 days ago, the government put out a statement that had to come from Jagdeo, that no government agencies must stop or do anything to hold back or humbug the oil companies them in this country. Yes. That is what is going on in this country. Brother and sisters, sometimes, like I said, I'm lost for words. How to explain to you people, how to get you people to understand the danger that this country faces and that of our future generation. Do you know that every week when Bharat Jagdeo was the opposition leader, he used to hold press conferences? Today, he's the vice president of this country, heading the oil sector, and the nation has to beg them to hold one press conference. We did 3 Sundays ago a front page comment calling for press conferences because the reporters, including myself, the owner of the oil and our gold and diamonds in the back dam, need them to answer questions. So we are begging them now to hold press conferences. This is what Guyana has become. As for the PNC and the AFC, they are in the opposition today, holding press conferences every week, just like what Barajagde was doing when they were opposition. And if my reporters don't ask them questions on the oil sector, they don't say anything about it. It's like it don't exist for them, uncle and auntie. Today, only today, AFC had won, and my reporter had to ask about oil and the mining contracts before Ramjatan could have said something. Yes, these are the people we have as leaders that you going to stain your fingers for very soon. These are the people that will make your life and that of your children and grandchildren's future great. I listened to a tape today from a doctor in Africa. I would love for you guys to listen to her keenly as where Africa is and why it is where it is today. Could you please play that tape?
A lot of good news. Voices of the black people, you might as well go to the graveyard. We are missing in action. This is where we are not only failing ourselves, our children, our grandchildren, and generations to come. We have got to change this. We have got to come together just like other ethnic groups and speak with one voice. We must realize that our sheer survival depends on us coming together and speaking with one voice as, like I would like to say, the beautiful, intelligent, sophisticated, highly adaptable, and totally indestructible Mother Africa's children. Madam Zuma, on my last conversation with her, she jokingly said, you know, my sister, the African diaspora are a very diverse population. Unfortunately, children of Africa, we don't really get along, we don't understand each other, we don't like each other sometimes. But be it as may, she did have hope that if we continue to engage each other, if we continue to understand each other, maybe, just maybe, we would see enough reason to come together, put aside our differences, and speak with one voice, one continent, one Africa. So when it's all said and done, our understanding of what is really going on in Africa, what is really making Africa end up where Africa is where we need to begin. So for today, I ask you to understand the Berlin Conference and its relevance to you today. Its relevance in your family today. Its relevance to your country and to your continent and to the world wherever black people are. So we got two issues: the legacy of slavery, the legacy of colonizations, two demons that we must fight, two afflictions that we must accept that we suffer from, and let's make every effort to defeat those demons within us in order for us to truly represent our Africa with full understanding of the issues. So,
wow. I think I'm going to play back that tape at the end of this program. Like I said, my program tonight is short. I'm going to play back that tape. You need to listen back to the words and feel the sentiments, the emotions that is coming out of that woman's stomach or her heart. She said, we must be part of that change, uncle. Part of that vibrancy, auntie. Everybody else around the world strategizing on how to take advantage on her new Africa, whose doors are swinging wide open. Is Africa's wealth the woman talking about there? What is going on here in our country? Isn't it the same thing? Our doors are so wide open that everybody coming for a piece of we. Everybody. We country open. We have a free for all country. That every time they can hurry come in here for a piece of us. The woman said, the only people who are not strategizing is us. Our own people. Yes, for our own thing. The woman said, every country is strategizing. And when you ask, where is our people? They are missing in action. Yes. And who is not missing in action? Yes. Is talking a set of sewage, filth. You listen to some of them just now. I wish I could use the exact word I want to use here tonight. What they have said. But I can't. And I wouldn't. Like I said, I have to go high. Michelle Obama said, when they go low, go high. That doctor said, we are not failing ourselves. We are failing our children and grandchildren and generations to come. Yes. That's a doctor of my heart. She's diagnosing the problem of what she sees happening in Africa. The solution that she's sharing is so simple, auntie, that any idiot, any donkey would know that they have to put their heads together, speak with one voice, and strategize how to get the best out of what God has blessed us with, man. Wait, man. We got to go to school to learn that? Lall should never have a program like this to talk these simple ABC stuff. No. No. Not to edify or educate people who went to the universities. Things like this. No, man. No. The doctor ended by saying there, today what is happening is relevant to you, your family, your country, and your world. You guys noticed the lady talking about you and you and you? It's not somebody else she's talking about, it's you she's talking about, uncle and auntie. Me and you. You can't sit down on your hands or your mouth and say this is somebody else's business, it's all of our business unless we make it our business, auntie. We will have no business, no wealth, and nothing of anything. Please take note of these things that you're hearing from Glenn Lall and all these experienced people out of Africa. I told you guys I visited 4 African countries: South Africa, Zimbabwe, Kenya, and Ghana. And what I saw there, I pray for Guyana and all of you that this country never become a quarter of the level of poverty I saw there. That doctor say, 2 demons we have to fight and make every effort to defeat them: slavery and colonization. You hear that? We have to defeat them. Slavery and colonization all over again. And right now, we are living with both of them. We either defeat them or they defeat us. So you decide which one you guys want. I always remember this phrase. I don't remember who said it. But the individual said, never worry about who will be offended if you speak the truth. Worry about who will be misled, deceived, and destroyed if you don't. Let me repeat it, man, so that it sinks in your minds, in your head, in your stomach, and in your memory. Never worry about who will be offended if you speak the truth. Worry about who will be misled, deceived, and destroyed if you don't. Every single word that doctor said is the truth. And if you don't take it and act on it, we all will be destroyed. You decide what will be your next move or step with the silence of these politicians. Those words, uncle and auntie, should tell you that none of the foreigners in our gold, our bauxite, our timber, and now our oil fields are our hopes and dreams. No, no. They are here to rape and sodomize every one of us with our clothes on. Uncle, every leader speaks of what is good and what is best for their country and their people. What can you say about the ones we have? The ones you're going to stain your fingers for very soon. I'm just asking. I'm just asking. What can you say? What can you say about them? Everybody wants the best. What is yours? What do yours want for me and you? And you know what? With that, I say good night. God bless. Namaste. I think I told you it's a short program. You know, I can play lots of videos from these politicians exposing who they really are. That's why you want me to play some more? You got one there with Norton. Play Norton with shaking hands.
I want people to know I shake hands, but I do not shake hands with my oppressors. I can shake hands. If you treat me, if you treat my people, if you treat all Guyanese as equal, you will get a handshake. But for now, you could put the handshake, according to what Born and New Sister, where Paddy put the nuts. My friends, it is easy for some to talk about protocol and decorum, but if they go into our villages, they will understand what this regime is doing to the people of Guyana.
President Ali hands he talking about there. He not shaking hands with oppressors like President Ali. But he would shake hands, hug, wine and dine with the embassy people and the oil companies. You tell me, who are the oppressors of this country? President Ali? Or the foreigners who fetching out everything out of this land? You see why children, our brothers and sisters' children have to go to school without lunch? That's the reason why. They're fighting among each other. I am not going to shake hands. Two leaders who leading this nation, who are responsible for this nation, the nation's wealth, the nation's patrimony, our livelihood, our children's future. You hear them? Now listen to what the vice president had to say about the same opposition leader. Play it.
Petty-minded again. He walked in Linden and nobody, even the dogs, move away from him when he was walking down some of the streets. So he then said,
that's the Vice President Jagdeo. Jagdeo is saying that Norton is petty-minded, complaining how he went to Linden and even dogs ran away from him. You people decide who is petty-minded or who is small-minded. I'm not going to answer that question. This is what your vice president find time to sit down with a man like critic to talk about. You see why our children has to go to school without breakfast and lunch? It is because of those chaps, those leaders y'all have there. Like I said, I'm not upset with you, life. I am astonished. Yes. I'm going to leave you guys tonight. I'm going to take 2-3 phone calls and then leave you. Joshua, I'm going to leave you with that.
Yes.
We have more tapes, but I don't want to play anymore. I'm tired of this.
9 minutes after 8 o'clock, 226-7453, 226-7454. We're going to take a few telephone calls this evening, and then we'll call it a night as it's Friday. We have a call on the line already. Caller, good evening, welcome. You're first caller for this evening.
Hi, good night, Mr. Glenn.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
Good, sir.
Is the scene replay today is just to open people's eyes about Northern Ramjet and River. Both these government are calling on God from this week about Wednesday and telling them that he bring up a pick, right? of something. So I tell you, I say we don't need a PNC. They don't want things over anywhere. Happy for it. I just every selling everybody in front and buying enough business. I think here I need to show we are living
every
guy I don't know this country fed up with this thing. Yeah, always has cut me off. You don't go getting it to Africa. Because people get more, they don't easy people in this country they're in a coma. I took this and bring the next and more in let these people face things on the
I don't know what else we can do. What else we wake up this country? I
don't know what bring a Christmas in the days, we can still only Christmas in this days, no Christmas. Everybody looking for things. Me don't be in and the young people them up. And it's funny. Is mocking them. They billions. I want to keep them and deep in the I'm okay in there. Make it get nothing.
What's going on in they're taking off. You want no in Sri Lanka, right? Because of the silence of the people, they are learned to battle. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah, they bull.
Yes, sir. You're live on you, sir.
Hey, Glenn, how are you doing?
Good, good, sir. How are you doing?
Well, all right.
And I was just telling the nation about the oil calls. And boasting how much money they are making. You want to contribute something to that?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
When I read it, well, of course, it wasn't surprising, but it just totally obscene. Could you imagine? We were celebrating our $1 billion that we were able to obtain within 3 years.
3 years.
3 years. Exxon, the past quarter alone, we